Our Seawolf, a Sargo-class submarine, was the second submarine of the United States Navy named for the Seawolf. Her keel was laid down on the 27th of September 1938 by the Portsmouth Navy Yard in Kittery, Maine. She was launched on the 15th of August 1939, sponsored by Mrs. Edward C. Kalbfis, and commissioned on the 1st of December 1939. Lieutenant Frederick B. Warder in command. Service history. Interwar period. After fitting out, Seawolf departed Portsmouth, New Hampshire on the 12th of April 1940 for her shakedown cruise, which lasted until the 21st of June and took her as far south as the Panama Canal Zone. Seawolf was next assigned to the Pacific Fleet, home-ported at San Diego. In the autumn of 1940, she proceeded to Manila Bay and operated from the Cavite Navy Yard. World War II. When war with Japan began, the submarine readied for sea and was on her first war patrol from 8 to 26 December 1941. Seawolf hunted Japanese shipping off San Bernardino Strait. On the 14th of December, she fired a spread of torpedoes at Sanya Maru in Port San Vicente. One torpedo hit but did not explode. She promptly underwent her first depth charge attack but suffered no damage. Seawolf departed Manila on the 31st of December 1941 for Australia and arrived at Darwin on the 9th of January 1942. She loaded 30 to 40 tons of .50 caliber anti-aircraft ammunition for use by American forces on Corregidor and sailed for Manila Bay on the 16th of January. The submarine sighted 7 Japanese freighters accompanied by 4 destroyers and a cruiser on the 21st of January, but had no opportunity to fire any of the 8 torpedoes that she had aboard. The ammunition was unloaded on 28-29 January at Corregidor. Seawolf then loaded torpedoes and passengers, and headed for Surabaya, Java. Seawolf sailed out of Surabaya on the 15th of February and began patrolling in the Java Sea Lombok Strait area. On the 19th of February, she fired 4 torpedoes at 2 Japanese freighter transports in the Bidung Strait. Damage to one was not ascertained, but the other was reported last seen down by the stern and listing to starboard. A week later, she fired her stern tubes at a freighter and watched one hit forward of the bridge before going deep to evade depth charges from an escorting destroyer at which she had also fired. In March, Seawolf was hunting between Java and Christmas Island. On the 1st of April, she stealthily approached the anchorage at Christmas Island where the Japanese invasion force lay at anchor. Seawolf fired a spread at Naga. Though Seawolf was credited with a sinking at the time, only 1 torpedo hit, causing significant damage to the ship, although not harming any of the crew. Naga was forced to return to Japan for repairs and was out of the war for almost a year. Unaware she had hit her target, Seawolf then underwent 7.5 hours of depth charge attacks. On the 1st of April, she attacked 2 cruisers. A violent explosion was heard, but no flames were seen. Seawolf ended her patrol on the 7th of April at Fremantle and received the Navy Unit Commendation. On her 5th patrol, from the 12th of May until the 2nd of July, Seawolf patrolled the Philippine Islands area. She attacked freighters on the 20th of May, the 23rd of May, 12 June, the 13th of June, the 15th of June, and the 28th of June. On the 13th of June, she fired 2 ships and her crew heard 4 explosions, but no sinkings were confirmed. Seawolf returned to Fremantle for 3 weeks before beginning her 6th war patrol. Seawolf prowled the Sulu Sea and Celebes Sea from the 25th of July, the 15th of September. She attacked a tanker on the 3rd of August, sank a Shijin Maru on the 14th of August and Showa Maru 11 days later. She returned to Fremantle to refit and then hunted in the Davao Gulf area from the 7th of October to the 1st of December. Seawolf sank Gifu Maru on the 2nd of November, Sagami Maru the next day, and Keiko Maru on the 8th of November. She ended her patrol at Pearl Harbor en route to the west coast. Seawolf arrived at Mare Island on the 10th of December 1942 and underwent an overhaul that lasted until the 24th of February 1943. She returned to Pearl Harbor on 13 March, and on the 3rd of April stood out for another patrol. She ended this patrol early on the 3rd of May, because she had expended all torpedoes on enemy shipping near the Bonin Islands. On the 15th of April, she torpedoed Kaihei Maru, sank an old destroyer now known as Patrol Boat No. 39 on the 23rd of April, and sank two 75-ton sampans with her 3-in-gun. Seawolf returned to Midway Island for refitting and departed that island on the 17th of May and headed for the East China Sea. She ran into several large convoys as she prowled from Formosa to Nagasaki. The submarine tracked a convoy of 11 ships and fired a spread of torpedoes at a large freighter on the 6th of June. One torpedo hit the target but proved to be a dud, and another passed under the freighter and hit an escort. 2 weeks later, she fired a spread at 4 ships. One was hit in the stern and sank in approximately 9 minutes. This was Shojin Maru loaded with troops. Seawolf returned to Midway Island on the 8th of July and, 4 days later, steamed into Pearl Harbor. Her next patrol was from the 14th of August to the 15th of September. This patrol, in the East China Sea, was also ended prematurely due to firing all torpedoes. She sank 12,996 tons of enemy shipping, excluding two 75-ton sampans sunk by shellfire. Seawolf made contact with a 6-ship convoy on her 3rd day in the patrol area. She attacked day and night for 3 days before finally surfacing to sink Fusei Maru with her deck gun. On Seawolf's 11th patrol, in the South China Sea from the 5th of October to the 27th of November, she sank Wuhu Maru, Kaifuku Maru, and damaged a 10,000-ton cargo ship. The submarine refitted at Pearl Harbor, and on the 22nd of December 1943, headed for the East China Sea on what was to be her most lucrative patrol. She attacked a 7-ship convoy on the night of 10-11 January 1944 and sank 3 ships totaling 19,710 tons. On the 14th of January, Seawolf fired her last 4 torpedoes at 2 merchant ships in a convoy, damaging one and sinking Yamatsura Maru. She continued tracking the convoy while radioing its position to Whale. Whale arrived on the 16th of January and promptly attacked, damaging 1 ship and sinking Denmark Maru. The next morning, Whale damaged another before action was broken off. Seawolf returned to Pearl Harbor on the 27th of January and sailed for San Francisco 2 days later. After undergoing a major overhaul at Hunters Point, the submarine headed west on the 16th of May. When she reached Pearl Harbor, she was assigned the task of photographing Peleliu Island in the Palau Islands, in preparation for the forthcoming attack on that stronghold. She carried out this mission despite constant enemy air patrols from the 4th of June to the 7th of July. The submarine headed to Majuro for voyage repairs and was rerouted to Darwin. There, she received orders sending her on a special mission to Tawi-Tawi in the Sulu archipelago. The submarine approached to within 700 yards of the beach, offloaded supplies and AMP men, picked up a Captain Frank Young, an Allied Intelligence Bureau coast watcher, and took him to Brisbane. The operation order also called for Seawolf to land a party and their supplies on northern Palawan Island. Seawolf stood out of Brisbane on the 21st of September to begin her 15th war patrol under the command of Lieutenant Commander A.M. Bontier. She reached Manus Island on the 29th of September, refueled, and sailed the same day carrying stores and army personnel to the east coast of Samar. Seawolf and Narwhal exchanged radar recognition signals at 0756 on the 3rd of October in the Morotai area. Shortly thereafter, a 7th Fleet Task Group was attacked by Roe 41. Shelton was torpedoed and sunk, and Richard M. Royal began to search for the enemy. Since there were 4 friendly submarines in the vicinity of this attack, they were directed to give the positions and the other 3 did, but Seawolf was not heard from. On the 4th of October, Seawolf again was directed to report her position, and again she failed to do so. One of 2 planes from Midway sighted a submarine submerging and dropped 2 bombs on it even though it was in a safety zone for American submarines. The site was marked by Die. Rowell's commanding officer knew he was in a safety lane, but, having failed to get word Seawolf was behind schedule, believed there was no U.S. submarine nearby and chose to attack. Rowell established sonar contact on the submarine, which then sent a series of dashes and dots which Rowell stated bore no resemblance to the existing recognition signals. Believing this an attempt to jam her sonar, Rowell attacked with hedgehogs. The second attack was followed by underwater explosions, and debris rose to the surface. Post-war examination of Japanese records shows no attack listed that could account for the loss of Seawolf. While it is possible Seawolf was lost to an operational casualty or as a result of an unrecorded enemy attack, it is more likely she was sunk by friendly fire. 83 officers and men as well as 17 Army passengers were lost. She was the 34th U.S. submarine lost in the Pacific War, the second to friendly fire. One of the Army passengers was Captain Howell S. Kopp, an Alamo scout. Kopp was en route to an undisclosed location in the Philippines to conduct a clandestine mission in support of the upcoming Allied landing on Leyte. On the 28th of December 1944, Seawolf was declared overdue from patrol and presumed lost. She was stricken from the Naval Vessel Register on the 20th of January 1945. Honors and awards. Seawolf received 13 battle stars for World War II service. She ranked 14th in confirmed tonnage sunk and tied for 7th in confirmed ships sunk, according to the JANAC accounting post-war. The contributions and sacrifices of Seawolf and her crew are officially commemorated in Seawolf Park, located on Pelican Island, just north of Galveston, Texas.